Nothing and nobody will ever hurt me again. Never, never and never again. I promise you that. There comes a moment when the pain doesn't make you weaker. It makes you immune. You've been broken before, torn apart in silence, shattered by things no one saw. You walked through storms that would have swallowed others whole, and still you survived. But survival wasn't the end. It was the beginning, because somewhere along the line, the tears dried, the fear faded, and the version of you that once begged for peace became the storm. Nothing can hurt you the same way again, not because the world is softer, but because you're harder, sharper, colder where you need to be, and stronger than you've ever been. They thought the betrayal would finish you, that the heartbreak would hollow you, that the loneliness would make you beg. But now, you look at pain and feel nothing. You don't flinch anymore. You've seen the worst. You've lived through it. And it didn't kill you, it trained you. People think healing is soft. They imagine it's gentle, peaceful, full of light. But they don't know the version of healing that comes from a fire, the kind that forges armor, that builds walls you don't need to apologize for, that creates a version of you who refuses to ever be broken again. There's a silence inside you now, not empty, but calm, a silence that says, I've been through worse than this, and I'm still here. You've stopped waiting for apologies, stopped expecting people to change. You don't chase closure, you become it. You don't explain your boundaries, you enforce them. No more soft warnings. No more giving chances to those who showed you who they are the first time. This world tried to turn your kindness into weakness, but now your kindness has limits. Your love has requirements. Your presence has value, and not everyone qualifies. You've grown past the need to be understood. You've stopped justifying your peace. Because anyone who wants to stay in your life must bring peace or leave. You're not bitter. You're not angry. You're aware. You've seen how people use love as a weapon, how they twist words, how they pretend to care while slowly bleeding you dry. And now, you see it coming from miles away. You don't argue. You don't plead. You just walk away. You owe no one access to you. Not after what it cost to rebuild yourself. Not after what it took to find your voice again. To look in the mirror and like what you see. That wasn't luck. That was war. And you won. There's no reset button on your soul. So you protect it like it's sacred. Because it is. And from now on, nothing and no one will ever hurt you the same way again. Not because life stops being hard, but because you stop being breakable. Your spirit has teeth now. Your heart is still warm, but it's guarded. Your vision is clearer. Your tolerance is lower. Your energy is too precious to be wasted on chaos. You no longer fear being alone. You fear being drained. You're done giving your light to those who only brought shadows. Done explaining your value to people too blind to see it. Done loving people who mistake your softness for submission. You are not what they did to you. You are what you did to rise from it. And the new you, the real you, is untouchable. Let them wonder why you're different. Let them feel the distance. Let them talk about how cold you become. That's not coldness, it's clarity. You know what betrayal feels like, what manipulation feels like, what abandonment feels like. And now you carry the blueprint. You become the warning label. You become the line they can no longer cross. This is your era of silence, of strength, of peace without apology. Because from this point on, nothing and no one will ever hurt you again. This is your era of silence, of strength, of peace without apology. Because from this point on, nothing and no one will ever hurt you again. The world doesn't stop testing you. It never will. People will still show up with their masks, their half-truths, their promises that sound sweet but carry venom. Circumstances will still try to bend you. Loss, rejection, failure, grief. But the difference now is you. You're not the same person who once crumbled under the weight. You're not the one who used to wait for the storm to pass. Now you walk through it, eyes clear, spine straight, heart steady. The storms don't scare you anymore. They don't even surprise you. You've seen their patterns. You know their tricks. And you've learned how to stand unshaken. This transformation didn't happen overnight. It wasn't a single moment of clarity or a sudden epiphany. It was 1,000 small choices made in the dark when no one was watching. It was a decision to stop apologizing for your scars, to stop hiding the cracks in your foundation, to stop believing that your worth depended on someone else's approval. It was the moment you realized that the only person who could save you was the one staring back in the mirror. And so you did. You saved yourself. You rebuilt from the ashes, piece by piece. Every tear you shed became a brick in the fortress you now call your soul. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every heartbreak sharpened your instincts. Every time you fell, you learned how to stand taller. You didn't just survive, you evolved. You became a version of yourself that no one could have predicted. Not even you. Stronger, yes, but also wiser. Kinder to yourself. Fiercer in your boundaries. Unapologetic in your truth. There's a quiet power in this new you. It's not loud or boastful. It doesn't need to announce itself. It's in the way you carry yourself, calm but unyielding. It's in the way you say no without explanation. The way you walk away from what doesn't serve you without looking back. The way you protect your peace like it's the rarest currency, because it is. You paid for in blood, sweat, and sleepless nights. You've earned every ounce of it. People notice the change, even if they don't understand it. Some will call it coldness, but you know better. It's not cold to prioritize yourself. It's not cruel to guard your heart. It's not selfish to demand respect. You've simply stopped playing by rules that were never meant to protect you. You've stopped letting the world dictate how much of you it's entitled to. And that shift, that refusal to shrink, makes people uncomfortable. Let it. Their discomfort is not your burden. You've learned to see through the facades. the charming smiles that hide ulterior motives, the apologies that come too late, laced with excuses, the love that feels more like control. You become a master at reading energy, at sensing when someone's words don't match their actions, and you no longer hesitate to act on what you see. You don't negotiate with red flags. You don't beg for sincerity. You don't waste time on people who show you their truth through their behavior. You believe them the first time. This clarity is your shield. It's what keeps you untouchable. Not because you've shut the world out, but because you've learned to let in only what aligns with your peace. You've stopped chasing people who run. Stop pleading for love that's conditional. Stop trying to fit into spaces that make you feel small. You've outgrown the need to prove yourself. Your existence is proof enough. There's a freedom in this, a weightlessness that comes from letting go of what no longer serves you. You're no longer tethered to the expectations of others. You're no longer haunted by the what-ifs of the past. You've made peace with the fact that some wounds will always ache, but they don't define you. They're just reminders of how far you've come. They're the map of your resilience, etched into your skin, your soul, your story. You've also learned to love differently, not with less of yourself, but with more intention. Your love is no longer a reflex. It's a choice. You give to those who honor it, who reciprocate it, who understand its weight, and you withhold it from those who treat it as disposable. This doesn't make you guarded. It makes you discerning. Your heart is still open, but it's selective. It's a garden, not a public park. Only those who nurture it get to stay. Loneliness doesn't scare you anymore. You've been alone before, and you didn't break. You found yourself in those quiet moments, in the spaces where no one else could reach you. You learned that solitude is not a punishment. It's a sanctuary. It's where you recharge, reflect, and remember who you are. You've stopped filling your life with noise to avoid the silence. You embrace it now, because in that silence, you hear your own voice, and it's the strongest voice you know. You've also stopped fearing the unknown. The future used to feel like a threat, a place where more pain might be waiting. But now you see it as a canvas. It's not empty, it's open. You survived every worst-case scenario life threw at you, and you're still here. That's not just resilience. That's power. The kind of power that makes you unafraid to dream again, to hope again, to build again. Because you know, no matter what comes, you'll handle it. You always have. There's a part of you that mourns the old you, the softer, more trusting version, who didn't know how cruel the world could be. But you don't resent her. She was the one who carried you through fire, even when she didn't know how. She was the one who kept believing in goodness, even when it was nowhere to be found. She was the seed of who you are now, and you honor her by protecting the woman she became. You stopped looking for heroes outside yourself. You stopped waiting for someone to swoop in and fix what's broken. You are your own hero now, your own protector, your own safe haven. You've learned that the only love you can't live without is the love you give yourself. And you give it generously. You speak to yourself with kindness. You forgive yourself for the times you didn't know better. You celebrate yourself for the times you did. This is what it means to be untouchable, not invincible, because you're still human, not unbreakable, because life will always find ways to test you, but untouchable in the sense that nothing can take away what you built within. Your peace, your strength, your clarity, they're yours. No one can steal them. No one can diminish them. They're woven into the fabric of who you are. And so you move forward, not with arrogance, but with quiet confidence, not with anger, but with resolve, not with fear, but with faith in yourself. You know what you're capable of. You know what you've survived. And you know that whatever comes next, you'll face it with the same ferocity, the same grace, the same unyielding spirit. Let the world keep turning. Let people keep showing their true colors. Let life keep throwing its curveballs. You're ready. You've been ready. Because you've already walked through the worst and came out stronger. You've already faced the darkness and found your light. You've already rebuilt yourself from nothing. And from this point on, nothing will ever hurt you the same way again. You are not just a survivor. You are a force, a reckoning, a woman who knows her worth and refuses to settle for less. A soul that's been through hell and still shines brighter than ever. A heart that's learned to love fiercely, but never at the cost of itself. This is your vow, your truth, your victory. Never again will you let the world dim your light. Never again will you let pain define you. Never again will you give your power to those who don't deserve it. You are done being anything less than everything you were meant to be. And that, more than anything, is what makes you untouchable.